Got Dusty in on the lift. Check out the shorts. There's a couple shorts of me backing it up. You're going to have to forgive me for the audio. I'm still trying to work out that. Sounds like the engine's flying apart, but for some reason there's a bunch of screeching in there. So at some point when Matt's around, him and I are going to tell the story of how we rescued Dusty from the fields in Seagrave, Texas. But for right now, I'm just going to do a quick walk around. Let's look at the engine. 383 Chevy, about 400 horse, according to the engine builder. I haven't had it on a dyno, so I don't know. eBay radiator. Replaced the single piston master cylinder with a dual for a manual brake Corvette. Stainless steel brake kit. It was the wrong brake kit. It was for one with a power booster, so I had to modify it a little bit, but it worked. Single wire alternator. Batteries in the stock location. Short water pump, one belt. When I installed the engine, I used the original 6-cylinder mounts and I welded them shut and then re-drilled them. So those worked out pretty good. Okay. Walking around, it is a 4-door. Been watching Dan from D&D convert them to 2 doors, and I'm still on the fence about that. This car shows 17,000 miles on the odometer, and it was sitting since 1966. So all the body lines, all the doors open and close, fairly decent for a car this old. All the trim was here. Took a couple pieces of front trim. Looked like the guy had an accident here. The original 6-cylinder sitting over here in the corner was seized solid. Drained a quart of water out, a couple of gallons of water out actually. So I pulled that apart. Used all the little bits and pieces from the engine that I could. Saved every little nut and bolt so that I could reuse that stuff. The trunk's stuck shut right now, but the trunk well is completely intact. No rust holes in the trunk. The wheel wells, the spare tire well's good. Car's pretty straight. Pretty straight. The roof has got some dents in it, like there was stuff laying on top of it. The hood got run over by a tractor. For the most part, the interior just fell apart. And we'll look at the interior here shortly, but I'm going to put it up in the air and we can take a look at the underside. All right, looking at the brakes. So I tried a couple different conversions on the brakes, and then I finally settled on using the 70 Chevelle Monte Carlo rotors, which fit on the stock spindles. And then I bought a brake kit from Speedway. These are like S10 or metric GM X-body calipers. Everything fit well. The hardest thing I had to do was find the brakes, and I got these brake lines. Matt found them. I don't know what the hell they're for. They're probably kind of long. I'm going to make a couple brackets to kind of keep them out of the way. All stock suspension still in there. Nothing's been touched. Got the original spiral shocks on the front. Had the original ones on the back till I changed them out. Like I said, this is the extent of the damage to the body here and there. Original paint, it's India Ivory, and I can't remember the name of the green, but yeah, it's pretty much original. I tossed the bumper. The bumper was all tore up. You see all the plastic is just falling apart from sitting. Adapted the radiator because I got the wrong radiator, but I made it work. Yeah, just the brakes and everything work. Finally got them bled. Everything works. Got, for manual brakes, got 15 by 5-inch rims in the front. Rally wheels are dual bolt pattern. Got them off of Amazon. Same with the rears. These are 15 by 8 with a 4.5-inch backspace. And then I have a 275/60/15, which fits nice. I rolled the lip of the fender well a little bit. These fender wells are like there's no rot in this car. This car's never been touched. Like the only rot in there is literally from sitting, which is a shame. So let me get her up in the air and I'll show you the rest. All right, underneath the car, here we go. Muncie M20 4-speed, okay. Made it to a stock bell housing, okay, with stock rear mount transmission bell housing mounts. I figured I was just going to leave it alone. Got the, I think I paid $75 for the bell housing. It's cast iron. It'll probably not kill me if the tranny clutch blows up on it. 10.5-inch clutch, new flywheel, pilot bearing, a small high torque starter, and then mid-length headers from Speedway as well. I think they were like $100. This thing has a really wonky kind of angle here, and I wanted to get everything as close as I could to where the factory exhaust were going to run. So I had to like shape these up, and then my buddy Joe took them and welded them up for me because my welder wasn't working at the time. All stock, original front suspension. It's got a little bit of an oil leak on the front timing cover. Not worried about it right now, but probably fairly soon I'll pull the timing cover off and change that. It's probably just because the engine's been sitting. Stock motor mounts, the biscuit type, seems to be fine. 70 plus year old control arm bushings, yeah, they're in there. Probably leave them. 2.5-inch exhausts. Paid $80 for the whole kit. It's got all the bends, U-bends, 90s, 45s in it. And I was like, yeah, I'll do this. Got some clamps down from Napa in town. Bought 2 Thrush turbo mufflers, and then took 2 of the pipes and then just hacked them off and made little downturns on it. So that's pretty much the exhaust. Had to kind of keep it away from the emergency brake cable. For some reason, these emergency brake cables, when the car's up in the air, rub on the drive shaft. So I'm probably gonna have to figure out how to fix that at some point. The floors, they really only had holes in them. Now, I cut this one out, so it looks bad, but they really had small holes, and really from probably where the water laid over the years. The back ones only had like a couple pinholes in it. The rockers are rock solid, like literally. Like most 55s that the floors are rotted out in, it's gone to the rockers. These rockers are solid. Frame solid. There's one of the new pans I was fitting in. I'll finish those up here shortly. Get that all taken care of. Bought the transmission off of Facebook Marketplace. I think I paid like $500 for it with the shifter, which was a smoking deal. I happened to be in Arizona, and I looked up and found it. So original drive shaft with a different front yoke, 1350 U-joints, original rear end that's got a pinion leak. I'm not even messing with it because I'm trying to change. I want to change it out. I want to put either a 9-inch or an 8.8 in it, or if I can find a 12 bolt that's narrowed, I will. Holley fuel pump mounted up there. New fuel tank that I got offline. I think that was Amazon as well. And then a set of air shocks. Supposed to be for like an LTD or something, but they work for this, so I'm going to leave them for now. Everything else back here, trunk's good. There's the spare tire well, no real rot at all, which is amazing. A couple little like bits of rot around the around the trunk lip, but I really don't care. Painted the straps up, put the tank in, that fit. Cleaned out the filler neck with some vinegar, let it soak for a couple days. Thanks to Brad for the tip. At some point I might move the leaf springs inboard so I can put a bigger tire on it, but for right now this is good enough. I just need to run this thing around the neighborhood for now. So, all right, well, that's the view of the underside of the vehicle. If you have any questions, post them in the video and I'll try and answer them for you. Thanks.